friends, this is the program Empire of Lies, where we discuss manipulation and disinformation in the Russian media. Russia and the cult of nuclear weapons. There are moments when propaganda ceases to be just a television spectacle and becomes a confession of the state. The new episode of 60 Minutes with Olga Skabeeva is precisely such a case. Almost the entire program is devoted not to economics, not to war, not even to politics, but to missiles, Burevestnik, Poseidon, Oreshnik and Sarmat. There's nothing accidental about this. The television show where Putin awards the designers of 21st century weapons isn't a story about technology. It's a ritual in which Russia proclaims itself not just a power, but the guardian of the sacred balance of the world. The message is simple. If the West arms Ukraine, Russia will demonstrate its ability to wipe any continent off the map. Nuclear faith. Instead of a national idea, the program presents this as pride, as proof of strength. The Burevestnik has surpassed all the world's missiles, the host repeats. The Poseidon is faster than all submarines. Putin explains that the new missiles pose no threat, but merely render threats against Russia meaningless. This is a typical formula of modern Russian ideology. A threat is presented as peacekeeping, and a demonstration of weapons is presented as proof of spirituality. When Russia talks about nuclear drones, it is talking not about physics, but about faith. This is an attempt to fill the void left by the loss of the Soviet mission and the meaning of modernization. Where there is nothing else to be proud of, not science, not economics, not culture, the only thing left to be proud of is the possibility of destroying the entire world. The development of the Burevestnik nuclear-powered cruise missile and the Poseidon naval drone is of historic significance for the entire 21st century, Putin declared. The Burevestnik has a longer range than all known missile systems, while the Poseidon is significantly faster than all modern surface and submarine vessels. The Russian president awarded the creators of these cutting-edge weapon systems in the Kremlin's Catherine Hall. A new generation of weapons is already being developed based on the unique propulsion systems of the Poseidon and Burevestnik. Russia has also begun serial production of the Oreshnik medium-range ballistic missile, and the Sarmat strategic missile system will begin combat testing this year and combat duty next year. Russia will continue to develop its nuclear potential, the head of state made clear. Essentially, simultaneously, Trump reiterated in an interview with CBS that he plans to conduct a nuclear test. That's exactly what he said, nuclear tests, allegedly in response to similar actions by Russia and China. From science to myth, Skabeeva's program is structured to connect three themes: military elation, religious symbolism, and anti-Western fear. Putin speaks of a new generation of weapons, of systems that will ensure Russia's security throughout the 21st century. Trump and the American generals quoted after him serve as a contrast to show that they are afraid, but we are acting. The nuclear issue is becoming a universal language of justification. Any crisis, any international isolation, any losses at the front, all are overshadowed by the promise of weapons that have no equal. This is not a dialogue with the West, but a dialogue with itself. Russia convinces itself that greatness is still possible, even if it is measured in megatons. A voice turning to the past. In this context, Putin's words that Burevestnik is not a threat sound almost symbolic. It does not threaten because threat is already a state of the system. Russia lives within the myth of its own besieged state and responds to it with a show of force, turning the nuclear arsenal into a national cult. That's why the topic of Burevestnik and Poseidon on Skabeeva's airwaves is important not as a military plot point, but as an ideological symptom. A state that seeks its future in destructive technologies thereby admits that it has no other future left. What does this mean for Europe? For Europe, there's no reason to panic, but there is reason for understanding. This isn't about Russia preparing for a strike, but rather about it trying to prove to itself that it can still intimidate. When a country measures its worth by the length of a missile, that's not strength. It's desperation elevated to a strategy. The West shouldn't fear this rhetoric. It should be read as an admission of weakness in the economy, in ideas, in the future. That's why each new doomsday weapon sounds not like a challenge, but like a confession. Russia is telling the world, we have nothing left but fear, which we pass off as power. Think, analyze, draw conclusions, and don't be fooled. This was the Empire of Lies program.